Hey, good morning. Let's see here. I'll make sure everything is rocking and rolling here with the live stream. We are up on Facebook. We are now up on YouTube. Fantastic. Good morning. How are you? Welcome. So I started the day off this morning with a peach, like the fruit, the peach, and not just any peach. This was a Georgia peach. And it wasn't just any Georgia peach. This was a ripe, fully ripened Georgia peach, the kind that when you bite into it, it's it's so soft. It's like you barely have to put any pressure on it at all, and the juice just gushes out of it, and it goes down, rolls down your cheeks, and it was so sweet, so sweet. My wife Vicky, a few years back, started ordering peaches from a company called the Peach Truck, and essentially you place a pre-order, they pick up the peaches from Georgia, they deliver them and to your area. You pick them up, and then you let them sit for a few days. She puts them out on the kitchen counter. And within about 3 or 4 days, wow, it's amazing. It brings back memories of my childhood. I mentioned yesterday that my mom was born in Nashville, grew up in Knoxville. And I have these very um, vivid memories of being just like a grade school age little boy. And I remember that my grandpa and my dad and we would drive down to the farmer's market in Knoxville. And it would just be rows of trucks that had driven up from the deep South, like Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama. And, excuse me, and it was just produce on the back of these trucks. And the thing that stood out to me the most, and of course they would buy the corn and beans and all that kind of thing, but the two things that stood out to me were the watermelon and the peaches, because they were the most delicious, ripe, sweet watermelons and peaches that I've ever tasted. And I remember, and then I think about how disappointed I was as I got older. And at least in Ohio, we had the produce is decent here. It's a little bit further south than the Chicago area. But once we got up there, it was just hard to get good produce. And so coming back to, again, not the South, but Cincinnati, we're getting there, but having access to that produce that is really, especially again, the fruit, like the watermelon and the peaches that get so ripe and so sweet. It's amazing. So I'm flying kind of high this morning, feeling good about that. And that brings us to, that has nothing to do with anything really, except I just wanted to share that experience because I guess it does relate, and I'll share why in a few moments. But it's a memory that I have that brings back a very distinct feeling for me. And the segue now, as we go to the question, I've got a question this morning. It comes from Marie. And what she's asking is, how can we be the most natural, conversational, dynamic, and smiley? So natural, conversational, dynamic, and smiley. Now, I'm not sure, Marie, if you mean those to be all at the same time or individually, but she's wondering if I have some tips. And by the way, thanks for, a little peach rant, Joe. That's right. Thanks for checking in this morning. So as you watch, if you don't mind, just let me know where you're watching or listening from this morning. And I see we already have a nice international audience. So we'll check in with you guys in just a few minutes to see who's on. The problem with starting with an adjective, a descriptor like conversational, dynamic, smiley, is that you're really allowing the tail to wag the dog. It's starting by focusing on the trees and not the forest. And I think one of the big struggles that voiceover talent have when trying to get the right read for an audition or for a project is you start at the wrong end of the equation. And we need to have an idea of where we're going, no doubt. But a couple of things. One is, when you say the word conversational, that can mean 20 different things to 20 different people. And if you've done this long enough, you guys who have done this for a while will understand, just because a client gives you direction, may not be the way you interpret it. You may have two totally different interpretations. And B, sometimes the client changes their mind because once they hear it, it doesn't sound right to them for whatever reason. It's not what they envisioned or imagined in their mind. So when I get direction from a client, I certainly look at it, but I try to look at it from a very, from a 30 to 50,000 foot view, just trying to get an idea of where they're trying to go with it, knowing that in the final analysis, what they choose may be completely different. Clients, they know what they like when they hear it, and they have an idea when they go into it. But here's the most important thing. The most important thing is this, is that your read is authentic. I spent a lot of time earlier on in my career trying to contort my personality, my sound, my style, and my point of view, my attitude, into what I thought somebody else wanted me to be, instead of looking at the script, studying the script, and being authentic to what I was seeing, and to what I was feeling, and to what I was experiencing. And once I began to do that, I hate to use the word disregard, because I don't disregard direction, but its place is just to give me a general ballpark idea. When I look at a script, it's all about context. What's the story? What's going on? Who are you in the script? And if you were in that situation, how would you respond? So let me give you a for instance. If somebody gave me a script, and generally speaking, the script is me sharing an experience that means a lot to me, where I'm kind of reflecting back on something in my life that means something important. Instead of trying to sound nostalgic or sounding conversational or sounding excited about it, what I would do is I would think about a time in my life that brings back those kind of feelings. For example, getting peaches as a young boy with my dad and with my grandpa at the farmer's market in Knoxville, Tennessee. And when I tap into that memory, as I was sharing with you, I didn't make that's not made up. That's a real experience. But I didn't have to think about how I felt. I knew how I felt. As soon as I bit into that peach this morning, as soon as I began to share with you that story of going to the farmer's market and seeing and being able to smell that produce, and you could even, they would allow you to sample and taste it off the back of the truck. Man, it just brings back vivid memories. And the storytelling, excuse me, was genuine and authentic because it was real. It was real. Now, the script doesn't have to be about eating peaches. It can be about anything that has to do about anything about sharing. If I'm sharing an experience that's important, talking about something that means a lot to me, that's the kind of thing that I can think about. If I think about that story, it elicits those emotions. The emotion then drives the read. The description can't drive, because again, if I say conversational, what does that mean? Dynamic, what does that mean? Excited. Yeah, I mean, excited, but excited in what way? Excited about what? What is your experience with that? When was the time in your life when you felt excited? When you had a lot of anticipation? When was the time in your life that you felt compassion? That you felt sad? That you felt fearful? Because if you can tap into those memories, say them out loud, or at the very least think about them until you feel that emotion, because when you feel the emotion and then begin to read the script, you will, that energy, that vibrational energy of that emotion will translate to the person who's listening. And now, if you want to go back to earlier, you may have remembered me talking about the goal of any read, of any audition or project, is for the person who's listening to believe you. And they don't believe you when you're trying to sound like something. They believe you when you actually feel that way and speak from a place of authenticity and truth, because that's your experience. And so the emotion is genuine and it connects with people. It causes them to believe you. It makes them want to lean in to hear what you have to say. And it will increase your chances of being hired exponentially. So remember my peach story this morning, that there really is an object lesson in all of that, that when you get a script, that as you read the script, as you understand the context from your point of view, when was a time in your life that you felt that way, that you experienced that kind of emotion? And allow yourself some time to think about it. Maybe even say it out loud to somebody. Then read the script. because you'll bring that energy, that point of view, that emotion with you. That will translate. And much like we did the music exercise a week or so ago, where I played music and read to the music causes you to feel a certain way. Because remember, that's where it all comes from. A good read comes from a place that's very genuine and authentic. It's the feeling that you have, not the sound that you manufacture, but the feeling that you have. And that makes all the difference. All right, well, let's check in on the live stream and see what's up. Joe, good morning. Chris from Denmark, what's up? David in Louisville. Guy in Louisville as well. Man, three Louisville listeners or viewers here in a row. That's crazy. How about that? I love it. Doug and Indy. All right, Doug, what's up? Hey, Tim in Altoona, PA. All right. Jay and Chris, and hey, Dory in Maryland. Ed's back from the Lake of the Ozarks. Steve up in Oshkosh. Cheese country. Absolutely cheese country. Herb's in South Florida. What's up? Hey, Jim. First time catching me live. Been listening to the videos daily. Great stuff. Thanks, Jim. So glad you're here this morning. Chandler in London. The streams are my excuse for a lunch break from recording. I love it. Of course, Chandler, you're 5 hours ahead of me. So where you're at, if my math is right, would make it 1 in the afternoon, I believe. And I've never been to the UK. Can you believe that? And I would love to make the trip to Europe at some point. I want to visit Ireland, the UK, and Denmark, and just do the whole experience. I think it would be fantastic. I just finished up a project, I think it was yesterday, for a client in Sweden, and I've mentioned before about 25% of all of my work comes out of Europe, so I need to make a trip. It would be a business trip, right? Tax deductible. Guy in Nashville, love it. Brian, Colorado. Hey, Alan. And Alan, by the way, these are, I'm blanking. Who makes this acoustic foam? Hold on a second. I'll tell you real quick. I should know. This is the acoustic foam that, Oralex, that's right. Oralex. It's the foam that came with this, but it's, in my humble opinion, some of the best. Oh, let's see here. Sandra, how are you doing? She says, you always talk about not knowing what you don't know. Yeah, it's funny. My daughter Mallory and I were having that conversation yesterday. And when you get into voiceover, you just don't know what you don't know. And I think that's why it's so important to have somebody who can help guide the way, especially early on. Chandler says, my only memories of Knoxville are as a very cry-y, very cranky baby. Chandler was born there. Oh, hey, Ken in Michigan. Atlanta. Oh, Alan's in Atlanta. Hot Atlanta. Yeah, we're moving into your into the hottest time of the year. Hey, Tom, what's up, man? Oh, Tom's got his first directed session today. A bit nervous, understandably so. But Tom, you're going to knock it out of the park. I actually produced Tom's in my voiceover blueprint program, and I produced his demo a while back. And Tom, you got the goods. You're going to be fine. And yeah, you'll be nervous when you go in. But the amazing thing is when you're done, you will feel so good and so energized, and your confidence will go to a whole new level that you can carry with you going forward, which only leads to even more success. Hey, Guy in St. Louis. All right. Bill, Johannesburg. Fantastic. And Miss Ellie in Memphis. And hey, Patricia, what's up? Okay, Patricia's asking about the top plugins that I recommend. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a note here. Patricia, I'm going to put on my calendar tomorrow morning. Let's see, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday, the 30th, right? So let's go into the 30th here, and I'm going to make a note. And I'm going to make a note about top/favorite plugins. We'll talk audio plugins tomorrow. That's what we'll do. Something to look forward to tomorrow. Dawn in Seattle. All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for being here. Yeah. Oh, Tom, you're very welcome. And I look forward to hearing back. Please give us a report on how things go with you. Clint in Delaware. Clint, yeah, we're wrapping up. It's okay. You can go back and watch it because it'll be available going forward here on YouTube. And Leah in North Dakota, JJ in Minnesota, but in Atlanta, from Minnesota, but listening from Atlanta. Fantastic. All right. Hey, guys. Oh, man, they just keep coming in. Fantastic. Well, thanks again for being here. I really do appreciate it. And remember, when people hire you, they're hiring you because they believe you, and they trust you because they believe you're sharing from experience. And you're not just a voice. People aren't necessarily interested in talking heads. There are lots of people with great voices out there. Very few of those people actually can make a living recording voiceovers because they don't understand that it's not about the sound of their voice. And now you know that. So take that information, run with it. And let's see here. A first book deal. Alberta. All right, fantastic. LaSherry and Fayetteville, North Carolina. Hey, what's up? Headed down to North Carolina here in just a couple of weeks. I've got one of my nephews is getting married in the Outer Banks, so we're headed down that way. And then we're going to take a little family vacation on the Gulf Coast of Florida after that. Looking forward to that. All right, guys, thanks for being here. As always, I appreciate it very much. It's always a lot of fun. So have a great day, and